Well, we got our weekly numbers report yet again, guys, and my God, I don't know why I should be surprised at this point. Like, it shouldn't surprise me, but my whole timeline for this population decline has just been completely wrong. I figured we would start to see the decline like at July 1st with pre-patch. I figured we'd hold steady till then. We would start to plummet July 21st when SoD actually came out, but I have just been completely wildly wrong with all of this, so, take it with a grain of salt. So without further ado, we're going to switch it over to the population, break it down the numbers, and talk about a few trends that are quite alarming that might be even greater than just these odd trends that we see. So I'll see you then. Voop. Alrighty, so here is the Season of Discovery population chart, and as you can see, we had 40,000 people last week, and we have dropped another 11,000 players, and we are down to 29,000, which is the third lowest we have ever seen the Season of Discovery population. We have to go back almost 12 months to see lower. And we are here at the depths of Phase 3. This week was almost close to it, and then the lowest we've ever seen is 20k. And I think we might, in the next 2 weeks, I think we'll be sub 10k. Because this next week, the next numbers that we'll get and talk about, that is going to be probably around 20,000, 15,000. That is the last week to get your boost. So this will be the final week to get boost, and then after that, it is just going to go straight downhill. Before this announcement happened, I had 3 full raid teams. We are down to 1, and this last raid, we didn't even kill Calderon. We lost a ton of players, and I had to pull teeth to field a roster. So, as I said, me and the SoD Saviors planned on raiding as long as I could maintain said roster, but it looks like that's even coming to an end, so we have scheduled our final raid for Monday, July 7th. So, I'll obviously stream it at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be a fun time, so definitely stop by and see it. I'm trying to get everyone who raided with us throughout all the phases to come back for one last hurrah. So, anyway, it will be exciting, and just a proper way to send it off instead of having to force people to come or beg them or promise them whatever. You know how it is if you've ever made a roster and have call-outs. But anyway, this number is just surprising to me. It really is. Like I said, I've just been completely wrong with my predictions for this, so I'm just gonna stay wrong, I guess. But it's just sad to see something you poured your heart and soul into come to an end so abruptly, so suddenly, and essentially without warning. But anyway, enough about sad SoD talk. Let's go over to the Cataclysm population. So Cata actually started to stabilize a little bit. It only lost 5k, which is pretty good compared to a few weeks ago when it dropped almost 10,000. So staying at a solid 70k, and I've been playing a ton, leveling all the characters, playing it on stream. I haven't gone into a raid yet, but getting everyone geared has been getting everyone to 85 has been a really fun journey. I actually finished that yesterday, so now, before we have the upcoming pre-patch, I am going to just try my best to gear them all with those Inferno dungeons, which are pretty easy to get into and gear your characters, which I really enjoyed. So that is the next plan after we do all of our professions. So it's just really cool to see Cata sort of stabilize, and a mop hype is actually there and real. So I think this will go up really high. Maybe we'll even beat Cata, get to that 300,000 mark, see a lot of people playing the game again. And what we want to see most importantly that we saw in 2019 TBC and Wrath is that steadiness. See, Cata had that initial burst and then it plummeted off a cliff. We don't want to see this plummet. We want to see steady rating numbers. But anyway, let's go over to the Classic Era. This only dropped 500, which is interesting. I actually I've seen a lot of people move from Anniversary back to Era because they hate AQ, and they're like, well, if AQ's coming out, I might as well just go to Nax. GDKPs are allowed here. It's just something really weird that I've been noticing and hearing a lot of streamers and content creators talk about. So we'll see. I'm not really involved or actively playing on either, so I don't really have any input with that. And then Anniversary also went down ever so slightly, only about 2,000 lost with Anniversary. But what's a really overall alarming trend is that we see all versions of Classic WoW on the decline. And that is shocking to see. And we really don't want to see that as a Classic WoW enjoyer, regardless of which flavor you're playing. So I did the math again, added it up. So last week we were at 222,000 total raiders, and this week we were at 203,000 raiders. So taking that math, that is only a 9% loss. Last week we lost 16% of the raiding population, but we are at 203K like raiders. That is really, really shocking. Like 203,000, like that is not good. Because if we take a look at like all of Classic 2019, we had significant. Like we haven't been lower than that. Like we were lower than that like week 5 or 6 of Cata or of 2019. Or that's week 8. After week 8 of then, we did not dip below that number until pre-patch and launching other expansions. And even sometimes at those pre-patches, it was barely dipped. We didn't get all the way there again until Cata, like midway through Cata, which is once again just crazy that we're seeing such amount of staggerness to almost, I'd argue, too many versions of the game. Like that is what we're seeing right now, and it's pretty surprising that we're at an all-time low. Obviously, I know it's summer. People are out enjoying life. Shockingly, we are WoW players. Our life is Azeroth. But it's just wild to me that we're seeing all-time lows when we have a new expansion launching. We have Anniversary and TBC on the horizon. Obviously, SoD, I guess, like, if we really look at it, it's kind of just the SoD number plummeting, right? SoD is definitely over half of those people gone. And they're still kind of homeless, not really getting into it. So hopefully the future is brighter. We see a lot more people playing Mists of Pandaria. We see a lot more people getting back into the Classic WoW because, as I always say, I really believe WoW is at its best when everybody is playing the game. And so I want to look at metrics here. So as you can see, there's our /who for org. There are a total of 14 people in Orgrimmar right now. 14 people. And you can say, yeah, it's really early, but I've recorded nearly every video for all of Season of Discovery between 9 and 10 a.m. You can kind of see it in the top there. That's been the same the entire time. Auction House. Let's take a look at how many items. We're down to 18,000 items, which is just crazy low. Like, that is shockingly low. Nothing really sells. Nothing's really the same that way. I will hop over to my alliance real quick. Even though he is level 8, we can do the same for Stormwind and show you the auction house there as well, which is just, once again, probably going to be very, very sad and underwhelming. So let's look at Stormwind. Okay, so Stormwind has 26 people, which is higher than the 8 that we saw in Orgrimmar. I do know Alliance like to hang out in Ironforge as well, so we will give that as well. So we have 10 people in Ironforge and 26 people in Stormwind. So there are, if you add up all these cities that people like to hang out in, we aren't even at 50. Just taking Ironforge, Stormwind, and Orgrimmar. I did promise you Undercity and Thunderbluff are probably empty, like maybe 1-2 people in them. So, but that still doesn't even add up to 50, which is kind of crazy to me. Then if we take a look at the auction house, we have 23,000 items. So just everyone's gone, everything's gone. It's so empty. And it just really genuinely feels bad. But anyway, guys, I just like to be real with you, show you those metrics. I'm going to be over on MOP and playing MOP Classic for the time being. I will definitely go into TBC as well and do TBC Classic content when that comes out. As well as, obviously, if there is a new season or anything news related towards Classic Plus the future, I will obviously cover it and give you guys all the detail. But just giving you a population update and how truly sad it is to see Season of Discovery come to such an abrupt end. But anyway, guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.